Hi everybody, and welcome to your Rock Irvine Daily. Today I want to talk about the beginning of Acts chapter 15 and the Jerusalem Council. It's a very key point, or turning point really. What we have is we have the apostles that meet together in Jerusalem to discuss the Gentiles and their relation to faith and the Mosaic Law and what they need to do in order to be saved. So what we have is we have Paul and we have Barnabas who come back just from teaching the Gentiles and bringing many of them to Christ. And they're also now following them and starting their own churches. So we have the Pharisees that are also there, and they are not a big fan of this, obviously. They still believe that the only people who should be able to come to salvation are the Jews because they're the chosen people from God. So when we have the Jerusalem Council, Paul stands up and testifies about what has been happening through his journeys and his relationships he's built with the Gentiles and the churches they've started. And the discussion that comes up is over circumcision. Well, the bigger picture really isn't circumcision. The bigger picture is the Mosaic Law. It's these Old Testament laws, circumcision, all the food laws and the way to approach God, and all these things are now under question. Because Jesus has come and died, and they've now been given the gift of the Holy Spirit, what the apostles are saying is the Mosaic Law makes no difference anymore, that they don't need it. Now, it's obviously a great way for them to live. It's something for them to follow, but it's not something that's essential for them to be saved. What's funny is this Jerusalem Council, it's not like they just had a little meeting. This was a huge discussion, of epic change to their religion. To compare it, it would almost be like if we had a discussion about whether Jesus was important in the salvation of our lives in modern times. And if we were to decide that maybe he wasn't. I mean, it was that big of a radical decision. So Peter also stands up, who we talked about earlier in the book of Acts, and he gives a testimony about Cornelius, and he doesn't necessarily talk about his dreams, but uses what happened in his dream with the white blankets and God telling him that everything that he's made is clean. And that's also now referring to the Gentiles. So at the conclusion of the Jerusalem Council, they decide that the Gentiles that nobody no longer needs to follow the Mosaic Law in order to be saved. And this was huge. And one of the biggest points was that the Mosaic Law had never been perfectly followed by any of their forefathers and by none of them. So why should the Gentiles now be forced to follow these laws? And the word they use is to follow the yoke. And the yoke is what they would refer to as the Mosaic Law. And that the burden didn't need to be put on them because they hadn't been able to successfully follow the laws either. So a huge turning point, just something that I think we all need to notice. Acts chapter 15, that was just the beginning. We'll continue to go through 15 in the next couple days, and I hope you all have a great day.